Good evening, I am Adventure Argonaut. This is the Golden News, and I bring you the news. I'm streaming a bit earlier today because I can. Basically, I found a slot in my schedule this moment, and so let's set everything up. The chat is there. Let's see, is every stream working? Kick Twitch, Rumble. And I am also on Odyssey nowadays. Like I haven't started streaming there, but also like my basically it's a copy of my YouTube channel, and I just upload my streams later on YouTube basically. And occasionally I make some YouTube videos that are not streamed. But anyways, everything seems to be working. Let's go ahead and see what news do we have. So bears in Japan. So yeah, this week we have a bit lighter load on like let's say political news, but I think it's like more emphasized on entertainment news. But I for one like it to have a bit of a change, not too serious stuff. Well, there is some serious stuff, but not as serious as usually. Anyways, so Akita Prefecture, 2,000 bears live in a village of 1,000 people. So yeah, I've heard some other news as well that a lot of bears have been spotted around Japan right now, that they're not really hibernating and stuff, and that probably means something. Like I have one theory that it's symbolical that Japan is gonna ally with Russia, but yeah, and I have to show this, of course.
Perkele! Ai! Sattuu! Mitä teki? Ai! Sattuu! Blablabla. Isä! Mitä vittua tapahtui? Nyt sä kuolet! Tapan sinut! Ei, minä kuolen itse! Tämä on perseestä! Nyt sä kuolet, vitun hämä! Isä! Ai! Nyt sinä näet, miksi minun nimeni on lentävä sirkkeli! Hopean huoli! Let's! Mitä vittua?
It's fucking hilarious. Unfortunately, you have to be Finnish to understand, but that's a anime I grew up watching back in the 80s. Like I don't even know the English name. It's Hopeanuoli in Finnish. Is it Silver Fang? I think it's Ginga Nagareboshi Gin is the Japanese name. Dogs hunting bears on the mountains, basically stuff like that. And that's of course just this short internet dub, but that's very hilarious. But yes, you should start learning Finnish so you can understand the humor of that. But anyway, Colonel Otaku Gatekeeper says, I would rather live in a village full of brown bears than a village full of brown migrants. Maybe he's got a point there, maybe. And this guy says, another frightening bear attack in Hokkaido, Japan. This time, bear actually managed to break into the local military base. I think it's time for the government to start training and paying hunters to prevent this from happening. And once again, I posted this because I can't help myself. So yeah, that's the bear news. And then there's another. This is not bear related, but this is, I guess, immigration related. In Chiba Prefecture, they will soon abolish saying "itadakimasu" in schools, which is a phrase customary to say before eating. The reason is sensitivity to other religions and cultures. People worry they will soon abolish the national anthem too. Like, if this is true, this is absolutely insane. How about just abolishing the Japanese language as well, because it's offensive to some people, I guess the Kurds or whatever. Like when I first heard this, I was so angry. Because that's basically, it's like you cannot use your own language in your country. Like there's no community note, so it has to be true, right? It's like, what the fuck? That's insane. But hey, that's all I have about um, bears in Japan. Let's go to the next topic already. So what's next? Oh, it's Erika Kirk and her grieving and other um, Charlie Kirk news is still going on. Like it's not hasn't been the topic hasn't been so vibrant in the past couple of weeks, but there is still like I think ever since the assassination, I've had some news relating to Charlie Kirk. So yeah. Kash Patel shuts down Charlie Kirk foreign intelligence probe in explosive feud with Trump's counter-terror chief. So yeah, not suspicious at all. Like I maybe there's some details that would explain it, but it doesn't sound good. And I have bots in my chat. They're quiet now. I'm not gonna bother banning them. I've seen the same message before. Anyway, and then the transgender boyfriend of Charlie Kirk's killer Lance Twig has gone missing. Alleged killer. But yeah, Lance Twigs has gone missing. Well, he's been missing for a while, and there's some people speculating that he never actually existed. That maybe he's just there as a basically red herring. Because like yeah, there's a picture of him, but for all we know, it's an actor or it's AI generated or something, or just CGI. Yeah, Charlie Kirk's trans lover Lance Twigs goes missing 6 weeks. 6 weeks what? 6 weeks after political assassination. I think he's been missing for like a month already. People who believe the official story are mentally ill. Yeah, basically, I agree. But then let's go to Erika Kirk. So there's this picture. So there was a video of Erika Kirk hugging J.D. Vance, the President of America, and like Jeff Epstein here are, trustworthy fellow saying they are sleeping together. And, many people have asserted similar kind of opinions. And I'm not going to go that far. I guess like the way she holds her hands against his, back of his head, that's a bit odd, I guess. Like, but I don't know how well they knew each other before the shooting or anything. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna say it's definitely anything sordid or anything, but maybe. And a lot of people seem to think there is something sus about it. And then there's also this what she says here. Let's have a listen.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend.
Well,
and his wife.
Like the way she's smiling, like I really don't get the impression that she's grief stricken or that she's, hiding her heartbreak. It's been less than 2 months or some. Yeah, it's not 10th of. Yeah, it's almost 2 months, but not quite 2 months since the shooting. And like as somebody who has lost, I've never lost a spouse or anything, but like who has lost close people, and it can take months just to be able to talk about that stuff. And the way she's smiling, maybe she's just a really good actress, that's possible. And also is American culture is much more about being performative in public, maybe that's also it, but it does rub me the wrong way.
They are incredible. And
okay, that did seem a bit like she's trying to hold back tears, but maybe it's just acting, not sure.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. He's an amazing man. So please help me welcome to the stage Vice President J.D. Vance.
So yeah, she sees a lot of similarities between her late husband and J.D. Vance, and this, like, even if it doesn't mean anything like that, reminds her of her husband in this sense, like, but it's still like, I don't know, it's very political at least, and I think it's in bad taste. And some people are complaining like, you have no right to say how she should be grieving, but it's like, Charlie Kirk was supposedly this, political commentator, and his wife should play a part of a traditional wife. And like, at least for me, in traditionally in Europe and in East Asia, like, if somebody died, you were expected to grieve for a few months at least, and dress in a certain way and don't be like too smiley and stuff like that. This just doesn't feel right. I'm not saying she did anything criminal or anything. I'm not accusing her of that, but it's just, yeah, she doesn't seem to be grieving. And okay, it's possible that maybe she had fallen out of love with her husband long before his death, and but they stay together for the kids or something like that. That's possible, and I can't fault for her emotions, but at least she should pretend. And I don't think she's doing a good job with that, like. And yeah, Erica Kirk ditched the whole trad wife routine faster than Trump ditched all his campaign promises. Yeah, that's well put. At least, yeah, she doesn't seem traditional at all, conservative, nothing like that. She seems to enjoy the attention she's getting, because I don't think I ever even like saw her a picture of her or heard anything about her before the assassination, because well, I wasn't like a follower of Charlie Kirk or anything. Okay, then let's go to Candice Owens. Candice Owens says TPUSA was a Mormon organization. I've been saying from the start that the Mormons were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Real Candice Owens has a point. Now look into everyone involved. They are all Mormon, including but not limited to Tyler and Lance. Also, those running the counter narrative on spaces and streams are Mormon and connected to the Mormons. Going down the Mormon road will make the Israeli connection clear. I'm not quite sure what he means by this. Like, how does it, like, will there be a connection down at the bottom of the rabbit hole between Mormons and Israelis?
Boyer is the king of shady at Turning Point USA. He is the one, like I said, that he has hired every person around Charlie. Joke's on you if you think Turning Point USA is a Christian organization. It's a Mormon one, okay? And Tyler Boyer is the king of...
So Tyler Boyer, what's his name? So yeah, I don't know if she's making claims like that. Still, I would like to see some proper evidence, like, or maybe this, Sulaiman Ahmed here saying that everybody around TPUSA is Mormon or was Mormon. I'm not sure. It's possible, but also I still feels a bit like she's throwing things around and to see which one sticks. This is a statement that I found more reasonable, though.
That pedophiles are in power. They're literally in power. And that is intentional because then they can be controlled while they are in power.
Yes, definitely. PDF files are in power and they can be controlled. Yes, they can be controlled with their vices, or other kinds of vices too can be used to control people, indeed.
And they are also exhibiting signs of a psychopathology that lets them know that they will do harm to the masses and feel nothing because they were themselves, many of them, raped when they were children. It is not a coincidence that Justin Trudeau is gay, Obama, gay, Zelensky, gay, Emmanuel Macron, gay and married to a trans man who molested him when he was a child. And that despite the overwhelming evidence, for me, the litmus test now is like Brigitte Macron. I'm like, if you want to figure out who is a fraud in media, there's no way to read that 6-part series and go through it and come out of it being like, no, totally legit, like these are just rumors. It's like one picture of yourself in your first 30 years of living, please. And they
show me her brother.
Where's your brother?
Where is he? I'll show you my brother. Yeah, where's your brother?
Yeah, That's what she said there. I think that's very reasonable observations and stuff. I can't find much fault in that though. All right, but that's all about Charlie Kirk and Candice Owens and related issues. So let's go to Trump versus Venezuela and some other U.S. politics affairs as well. A map of U.S. military buildup around Venezuela. So there's Rafael Hernandez Airport, is former Roosevelt Roads. I don't know. USS Jason Dunham, Henry A. Rawson Airport. So they are in Puerto Rico. Venezuela is down here. All right. So yeah. So they have like ships. Was okay. There's like all these ships. No, there's okay. These ships are there. And then there's okay the planes, these planes are here, and okay, and this is in the, so is this the Rafael Hernandez airport, has all these Kanawha, Joshua Humphreys, San Antonio, and see, I don't really understand, like, I can understand people disliking Venezuela and their current political government, but like, what kind of person would support America doing a military invasion on Venezuela except basically a neocon? And who actually likes neocons except the neocons themselves? So yeah, of course it's possible it's just blustering, it's a bit of brinkmanship, yeah, then it's whatever, it doesn't really matter. But if they really are going to invade, it's like, is I guess the last straw in the that breaks the camel's back when it comes to Donald Trump's legacy, because he has sort of betrayed what he supposedly stood for about being against the deep state and all that, draining the swamp. Like, nope, he hasn't done much of that. Like, you can say he attempted on his first term as president, but he failed, and now he's just joined the swamp and the deep state. And as Thomas Massey says, if they vote to keep the Epstein files sealed, are you going to trust them about anything else ever? That's a good point. Uh, You didn't. So there's an NPC saying in this meme, you didn't demand release until this year. And then Massey says, I did multiple times. Who campaigned on releasing them? Yeah, Trump did. Well, he mentioned it, but he wasn't. At least the one video clip of Trump before the election I'm thinking of, he did seem sort of unfair. He said sort of like, yeah, sure, I can release them. I don't really care. That's, he thought like it's a good way to earn a few votes without thinking about it. But yeah, as far as I can tell, Trump himself didn't really campaign on it. But whatever. The fact is, Trump did say something about releasing them, and he hasn't done anything. He's done the opposite, as has his puppets in the FBI and wherever. However, like, it's not like Thomas Massey is completely clean either, because last week I reported on him supposedly being a member in the Order of Demolay, which is like a Masonic organization. And if that is indeed true, and it seemed based on the evidence, and last week I showed that he is that does put a very a big question on whether he can be, how far can he be trusted. Like, so far the things he's said and done make sense, but mm, there's a limit. And anyway, and his wife died last year, like last summer I think, but he's remarried already. So yeah, last month. And it's a bit over a year since the death of his wife, and I think that's a bit fast. Like, not saying it definitely means anything sinister. It's possible, but I don't know all the details around his personal life, but like he is at the end of it all, he's a politician, and I wouldn't. I don't want to give them too much, benefit of a doubt. Like if it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Like especially when it comes to politicians. So like it's different if it's some random guy you know. I think you should give more benefit of the doubt to just regular people. But if it's a politician or somebody in very public famous person, then yeah, you should demand more from them, especially since chances are that anybody who is a politician is crooked in some way. So anyway, and Foundering is asking, why does nobody seem to care how Rhonda died, so his previous wife? Why are we swamped and attacked for merely asking? So yeah, asking about passing of Thomas Massey's wife gets you swarmed. Yeah, so this is from last year's July. It's literally none of your business. Maybe isn't any of your fucking business. Do you think about that? No, it's because none of your business. Yeah, what business is it? Everybody's almost saying business, but always funny how people think they're entitled to know about medical conditions and causes of death. Maybe it's none of your business. It's called respect and privacy. Those are terms not familiar with. None of your fucking business. It's none of your business. Calm down and focus on another conspiracy. Like, how do these people know? Like, are they experts? Because when I heard first that his wife had died, like I thought, like, what was she assassinated? Because Thomas Massey seems to have lots of enemies in U.S. politics, including the current U.S. president. Not saying that Trump had her killed or anything, but like that was my first impression. But like supposedly she died of some disease or something. Don't remember exactly. That's the official explanation. So it's I think it's good to ask questions, and yeah, especially like well, yeah, I think it's just it's decent. A decent human being might ask the question when somebody died who is politically um, who has some political power or somebody closely um, like attached to them. Then yeah, it is good to ask a few questions. Doesn't mean like if you ask a question doesn't necessarily mean that you are suggesting that there must be some sort of conspiracy, but certainly it's possible as conspiracies happen. There's that's everyday occurrence. But anyway, let's move on. So let's go to Asmongold the Conqueror. I know this image doesn't really look like Asmongold, but like I just like the image, so I wanted to use it. So there. So Asmongold says America is white people's land because we fought a war over it. How does Twitch allow this? So let's listen.
People's land, that's Europe. And so that's it. America is not white people's land, that's Europe. Well, it is. It absolutely is white people's land. We fought a war over it. Duh, it got conquered. What? Absolutely it is. It's been our land for hundreds of years. Of course. Obviously. It got conquered, yes.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree. Like, I'm not saying this. Like, it is de facto. If you conquer a land, it's yours. You can say it's immorally conquered or whatever, but like, I just noticed only on X trending Great Satan. Okay, but like, is he wrong? Is he wrong about this? That of course, America isn't. And I don't think Asmongold would make the argument that it's purely for white people, because I don't think he's the kind of guy who would say that, yeah, the black people should leave or something. And hey, I'm not American, so it's not my place to tell them, who is an actual American or not. Um, if it comes to black people whose ancestors have been in America for over 100 years or whatever, And yeah, I don't think Asmongold is arguing that those kind of people aren't American either, but like some people would argue that. And hey, I think they all have the right to their viewpoints on this matter. So, just like, how is it? Why is it controversial or bad? What is Asmongold is saying? But then I have to contrast it with this what Nick Fuentes is saying. So Nick Fuentes says he will unite with anybody who proclaims America first. I don't care what color you are. If you're born in this country, this is your birthright. This is our country. Our country. This is our empire.
Get some backbone. Get the courage of your convictions. If you're out there, and by the way, I don't care what color you are. I know maybe that's going to be controversial on my side. But seriously, if you have citizenship, if you were born in this country, this is your birthright. This is our lives. This is our rights. This is our heritage. It's our tax dollars. It's our government. It's our military. This is our country. This is our empire. I'll unite with anybody who proclaims America first.
Now, curiously, this text left out. He said that if you're a citizen and you are born in this country, because a lot of people have criticized Fuentes on this, like saying, like, if a Somalian woman comes to America and gives birth to 7 kids, are they Americans? But I guess according to Fuentes here, it wouldn't apply to her unless she's a U.S. citizen. But I guess if there's, let's say that Joe Biden becomes president again, and then he gives like a trillion Somalians U.S. citizenship right after they get off the plane, and then they give children, give birth to children, and then those children will become U.S. citizens. So yeah, I don't think they would really count as American, and I don't know how to define, because America is not like a normal country. Like in Europe, is fairly easy to understand. Like what is a Finnish person or Swedish or English and stuff. That's easy to understand. Maybe it's not so easy to define, but if as long as you're you don't play stupid, it's easy to understand. But yeah, America is more complex in that sense. And but of course, this is. I think the contrast of here is interesting, because still the implication here is that not looking too deeply into the exact wording, but like Asmongold here is saying that America is white people's country, and Fuentes here, who is supposedly far right or whatever he's saying, like, yeah, it doesn't matter what color you are as long as you're American. This is just funny. And then there's this clip. I haven't watched this one, but so Nick Fuentes, when we take power, the Jews will be needed to be given the penalty that takes away their living status. I don't want to say it too directly. I might get into trouble. I'm more concerned about that than the non-white people.
There is an occult element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration.
So it's an interesting comment, but like the sound quality was really bad. So I'm not sure if it said exactly what it is written here, but it's like, I guess I shouldn't comment on that too much. I don't want to get into trouble, but it's like usually lately I haven't agreed a lot with Fuentes, but I guess sometimes he has some thought-provoking ideas. Let's just put it that way. All right, but let's move on to another topic once again. But yeah, Asmongold he's the conqueror and the true white nationalist. of e-celebrities. So is chat control in EU dead or not? Because it was sort of halted a few weeks ago, and then they still not giving up yet, but maybe they are. Let's see. So the chat control thing means that they want the authorities to scan whatever private messages you send to anybody else in the EU. So Tuta here says we stopped chat control for good until a new council presidency tries again. Yeah, of course. But for now, we can enjoy our success. Thanks everyone for fighting for privacy along with us. See, that's the problem. Like, but for now, we can enjoy our success. But people should really um, do something to make it impossible for them to push this shit again. They should, get some law that protects people's privacy from government infringement and all that stuff. But alas, this is all about being reactionary and like, no, I don't want to, I can't do anything like that. Anyway, Danish presidency backs away from chat control. The Danes, because they were pushing it like they were the vanguard of it. The Danes will seek to propose voluntary detection regime in the CSAM proposal instead of controversial mandatory detection orders. I don't know what is the voluntary detection regime though. Like, still doesn't sound so good, but I guess still, a step in the right direction with this stuff. And huge victory for privacy for all Europeans. EU's chat control law has been officially withdrawn. Poland, Netherlands, and Italy led opposition against mass surveillance of citizens. How about Germany? Maybe they didn't lead the opposition, but at least they rejected it, right? That because that was the one big country that needed to be against it. Anyway, EU is expected to push similar law again soon using child safety narrative because of course they are. And whoever falls for this, simple bullshit, is for the think of the children. Like we need to have a tyrannical totalitarian government to protect your children. It's like, yeah. So who falls for that? They shouldn't have any rights to say anything in society what happens. Who's dumb enough to fall for that? And anybody who is pushing for this shit should be in an oubliette for a long time. Lawmakers want proof of ID before you talk to AI. A plan to keep AI chatbots away from kids might quietly make anonymity online a thing of the past. Yeah, lawmakers, so yeah. Congress just unveiled the Guard Act, so this is in America, to protect the kids bill that would require you to scan your ID before talking to an AI. So you can't talk to an AI online, but you without doxing yourself, but a kid can talk to a pedophile. And of course, they will say like, "Aha, exactly." So everybody should dox themselves, so nobody could. But then, how are you gonna protect children from politicians, huh? Well, there's a way. There's got an oubliette and a guillotine, but saying too much will get him into trouble. And this is just about European tyrannies related. So, welcome. There's this ad in London by Ricky Gervais, apparently, or a few of these ads that he paid for. Welcome to London. Don't forget your stab vest. Dutch Barn Vodka. So is it vodka or is it Stab West ad? I'm not sure. Got to love Ricky Gervais. He personally paid for 30 of these around London. Sadiq Khan has already ordered them to be removed. Mayor Sadiq Khan has banned this advert already. So I guess freedom of speech means nothing in UK, like they're not even pretending. Okay, let's move to the next topic, but I have to go get my son because I hear him waking up. Be right back. Okay, I am back. So yeah, the next topic is Indian guy defrauds BlackRock. So yeah, or at least allegedly. So let's have a look. Indian origin executive Bankim Brahmbhatt. Is this a meme name? It's like Bankim is like Sam Bankman Fried, who, had the crypto scandal a few years ago. Bankman, and this is Bankim, and he's doing some defrauding. It's like Nomen est Omen. Anyway, he allegedly defrauded BlackRock's HPS and BNP Paribas over $500 million through Carriox Capital. He fabricated telecom invoices and emails since 2018 to secure loans. So yeah, a lot of people like to shit on Indians, no pun intended, but some Indians seem okay. I think he deserves to keep the money if he succeeded doing that. And if other people were to do some similar things to BlackRock, I wouldn't be sad. Let's just put it that way. So good luck to Mr. Bankim Brahmbhatt. And yeah, I don't know if he's under arrest or anything, but he seems like a decent guy. Let's go to Israel delenda est. So Israel has to be destroyed, the political entity, because while it still exists, we can have no stability or sanity in society, in the world at large. So let's see. The first one here is Israel's military said Wednesday that the ceasefire was back in on Gaza after it killed 104 people, including 46 children. They have killed 46 children in just 16 hours. So, yeah, it's very Israeli. I wanted to say, juice, the drink, relating like the drinky kind of ceasefire that, if they violate it, they have like the excuse, sort of like on Shabbat they're not allowed to do certain things, but if they put the stupid wire around Manhattan, then they can do it. So it's sort of like, yeah, the ceasefire stands. So even though we violated the ceasefire, but if the Palestinians do it, then it's, oh my God, horrible, horrible! It's another show. Yeah, that's the kind of people they are, and this is one reason why I always say Israel delenda est. And then there's this: Google and Amazon are secretly notifying Israel whenever they hand over data to foreign governments, The Guardian. I think I've reported about this stuff before, but it's still good to talk about it. Leaked documents reveal that Amazon and Google, under Israel's Nimbus Cloud contract, agreed to secretly notify Israel whenever they hand over data to foreign governments, even when gag order prevents even when gag orders prevent disclosure. They use a coded winking mechanism. How it works: if either company is legally forced to hand over Israeli data to foreign authorities and gagged from saying so, they must send a coded payment to Israel within 24 hours. Each request triggers a symbolic payment to Israel matching the foreign country's sterling code. For example, NIS 1000 for the US and NIS 3900 for Italy. Okay. What's the N? Like is some currency? It's not shekel. I don't know. Anyways, if disclosure is legally forbidden, the firms must pay NIS 100,000 within 24 hours. Amazon and Google agreed not to suspend Israel's access even if terms are breached. Both companies also reportedly fired employees who opposed their Israel work. So yeah, You might wonder, why do I always say Israel del Endayest? I'm such a horrible person, but like, why is Israel in this specific position if not for, they've been doing all sorts of underhanded, immoral stuff behind the scenes and blackmailing people and crap like that. And then there's these Israeli soldiers who raped a Palestinian detainee as the Tayman held a press conference bragging they're still free, shouting, "We will win." And apparently, so yeah, there was this case of the, well, there's a later tab about it, but like, yeah, some Israeli soldiers supposedly raped some Palestinian detainees. I assume they're women, but can't be sure. And but yeah. Meanwhile, the military prosecutor who dared to investigate them after pressure by Netanyahu, the defense minister, and the army chief was detained and fired after leaking the videos to the media and attempting suicide during their press events. Wait, attempting suicide during their press events? What? Okay, so yeah, she's the one who leaked the footage, supposedly. Yeah, she leaked the rape video. Israel went after her instead of soldiers, literally raping Palestinians in front of cameras. So yeah, and supposedly, a lot of Israelis actually support the rapists, not the woman who is making their crimes known. This is the kind of country we are. That's if you're a rapist, pedophile, or something, then it's your greatest ally. Otherwise, it's your greatest enemy. There's no other way around this. Like, you can hide your head in the sand and join them basically passively, or you can speak out and do something about it. Police searching near Tel Aviv beach for missing ex-military advocate General Yifat Somer Yerushalmi. I did hear somewhere that somebody said that she was found, but there hasn't been, actual evidence that she's been found. So maybe, maybe not. So yeah, why has Israel's army's top lawyer resigned after leaking rape evidence? Video of alleged rape of Palestinian prisoner at Sde Temain went viral last year. So it was last year already. Now the prosecutor who leaked it has quit. So General blah 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 Israeli something General Yifat Tomer Yerushalmi has resigned after admitting to leaking footage showing the gang rape of a prisoner at the prison facility in August last year. The video of the rape had originally been leaked to the press in early August in the midst of right-wing backlash following arrest of a number of soldiers for the rape of Palestinian prisoner. So I think they're gonna do something similar to this woman if she leaked it as to the prisoners. That's how they act. That's their MO. In her resignation statement on Friday, Tomer Yerushalmi blamed the pressure from the right wing on her rape investigation for her decision to leak the footage, claiming that she was countering false propaganda directed against the military law enforcement authorities. Okay, in the leaked, I don't know what she means by that. In the leaked footage, soldiers can be seen grabbing and leading away a blindfolded Palestinian prisoner before surrounding him with riot shields to obscure the rape. Okay, so it's a guy. For 15 minutes, the accused kicked the detainee, stomped on him, stood on his body, hit him, pushed him all over his body, including with clubs, struck his body along the ground, used a taser gun on him, including his head, the original indictment stated. And supposedly, uh, like many detainees of the Israelis, like they have to have their hands and legs amputated at times because the handcuffs are too tight and there's gonna be like some problems, so they have to be amputated. So this, like, don't buy any crocodile tears when they say like, oh my god, the Palestinians have hostages, but like, I'm pretty sure the Palestinians treat whatever hostage they have much better than the Israelis treat their prisoners. Israel has to be destroyed. So, according to medical information obtained by Israeli Daily Haaretz, the victim suffered ruptured bowel, severe anal and lung injuries, and broken ribs as a result of the assault. He later required surgery. So they're gay rapist army. And what happened to the soldiers? At least 9 soldiers were detained in connection with the man's rape. All but 5 were released relatively quickly. In February, the remaining soldiers were indicted for severely abusing the detainee but not raping him. The trial is ongoing. So yeah. Okay, I don't have, but it was here. Yeah, this is. I'm not gonna show the whole thing, but supposedly they are doing the raping behind these shields. Yeah, so that's Israeli. That's where, if you're American, if you're German, that's where your taxpayer money is going to. And yeah, are you happy with that? Are you happy? And France has just shot down an Israeli drone in Lebanon, so the Israelis attacked them with tank fire and grenades. So I'd like to see a war between
France just shot down an Israeli.
France and Israel. That sounds like a good idea. So yeah, I don't know. Like I haven't heard many. Some of these stories I should look deeper into, but then I don't. I'm too lazy, I guess. But I haven't heard anybody else mention this. But still, I don't see anybody saying that this is BS or anything that never happened. We need to destroy Israel. Yes. Okay. And APAC is now lobbying in Taiwan. Thrilled to welcome first ever APAC delegation with a wonderful crowd. Glad to deepen Taiwan US-Israel ties based on our shared values of freedom and rule of law. Hope you have a good time there. So yeah, if this is the direction Taiwan is heading, I'm CCP all the way. I hope China takes back their island, because nothing is worse than Israel in this physical realm, at least. Speaking of Chinese, Israel. So Mao Zedong supposedly said Israel and Taiwan are bases of operation for imperialism in Asia. They created Israel for the Arabs and Taiwan for us. They both have the same objective. And it's not like I'm a great supporter of communism or Mao or anything, but it's like, I do believe in giving credit where credit is due. That, clearly he had some good ideas if he did say this, or at least, maybe not the exact quote, but if he did believe this. It's especially when it comes to Israel, and of course the imperialism there is very wears a small hat. Let's put it that way. And a 19-year-old son of Israeli diplomat Eli Gil deliberate. Fuck you, phone. I will. I'm gonna apply to become the emperor of Earth and find every fucking phone scammer and have them pulled limb from limb or limb by limb from their bodies with wild horses. Anyways, so the 19-year-old son of Israeli diplomat Eli Gil deliberately ran over a U.S. police officer in Florida, and then he engaged in a high-speed pursuit endangering civilian lives. All charges were dropped. So, wait, just look at him. He's the real victim. So, yeah. I don't see community notes saying that this is BS, so it must be true. Who controls America? Like, nothing fucking. Some people are arguing about porn or something, and okay, porn does have, like, many of the big porn websites are owned by Israel or Israeli adjacent people. That's certainly true, but like they only they think they seem to care about is like having porn or just attractive women in video games, and they want that banned, but they don't care about all the crimes. The how America is controlled by Israel and their politicians, how they're freaking pedophiles, and but we have to get rid of porn. Like first, get rid of the actual dangerous criminals manipulating society, and then we can, deal with these less pressing issues like pornography. because it is a distraction, especially like, nobody really talks about Epstein files nowadays. Like, people stopped talking about this basically a month or two ago, and now they're fighting online over porn. And not so, I've said it before. I'm, especially like, actual porn with involving real people. I'm not. I'm partial to the idea of banning it, but like, it's still there are still more pressing issues than that. Anyways, exclusive: CIA and Mossad are behind Boko Haram and ISIL, says Sudan president. So the Mossad are behind the massacres in Nigeria. I assume Boko Haram is in Nigeria. I remember hearing about Boko Haram years ago, but like didn't remember which African country it was. But yeah, how about all the lefties who really love, Africans and non-white people? Like, are they amplifying his message? Like, this minority should be heard, even though he's not a minority. I don't think he's minority in Sudan or in Africa, but American logic, he's still a minority. And what's this? And Pope Leo the 14th, Nostra Aetate. So I think it means our estates. I don't really speak Latin, but it sounds uh, very similar. Anyways, takes a firm stand against all forms of anti-Semitism. Thus, in his following chapter, Nostra Aetate reaches that we cannot truly call on God the Father of all if we refuse to treat it in a brotherly or sisterly way. Any man or woman created in the image of God. Indeed, the Church rejects all sort of discrimination and harassment because of race, color, condition of life, or religion. Okay, how about pedophiles in governments? Well, the current Catholic Church, they support that, I guess. Oh yeah, I shared this. Judeo-Christian, yeah. E. Michael Jones says, "Can the Pope please explain what he means when he claims that Nostra Aetate takes a firm stand against all forms of anti-Semitism? The term anti-Semitism is not defined in Nostra Aetate." Good point. In fact, the Church has never defined the term. How can the Church take a firm stand against all forms of anti-Semitism when she has never defined the term? Does this mean that every utterance of the ADL and SPLC is now binding on the Catholic conscience? Yeah, his Holy Father, is this anti-Semitism? No Catholic should ever harbor, much less express support for the state of Israel. So this is Saint Pius X to Theodor Herzl in 1904. So yeah, this was a pope. Back then, I guess popes used to be based, at least somewhat. Okay, but yeah, if you needed more evidence that the current pope is compromised, here you go. The Catholic Church has been under American and by extension Israeli occupation since World War II. Everything published by the Vatican since 1945 should be viewed as compromised. Good point. Do I follow this guy? Yeah, because he has a YouTube channel, PaxTube. I sometimes watch it. It's decent. This is Gregory Baum, a Jewish Catholic priest. He was the key writer of the early drafts of Nostra Aetate. So I guess Nostra Aetate means the Vatican II Council in the 60s. He converted to Catholicism after fleeing the Nazis. After Nostra Aetate was published, Baum left the priesthood. His mission was accomplished. Yeah, if that's true. This is the first time I heard about this guy or what he did. But yeah, sounds like the way they are doing stuff. And, and sensitive young fascists say. So somebody asked Grok, can a wooden door be airtight to the degree necessary for a gas chamber to be used for killing of farm animals? Stopped reasoning. Does it really say that this usage may violate our terms or usage policies? Did we get it wrong? Please tell us, giving the response as a as a thumbs down. Is it really like this might be Photoshop because it's just a screenshot? It's like why is asking a question like that? Why does it? Okay, like yeah, gas chamber and killing animals. But you should be able to ask hypothetical questions like that. I wonder why it's not allowed. And so there's. I was told this was a conspiracy theory. Reality is it's a 177-page UN report. So replacement migration, population division, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, United Nations Secretariat. So yeah, it's Lucifer Trust. Yeah, conspiracy theory. I haven't read the document. I don't know what sort of. Maybe it says like replacement migration is bad, but even if they say that, or maybe they're saying like, no, it's not happening. We did a really well. Of course, it's happening to a certain degree in many countries. Okay, cartels assassinate Carlos Manso, mayor of Uru, Uruapan. I'm gonna say it's Uruapan after he repeatedly begged President Scheinbaum for help fighting organized crime. Carlos was seen as a 2030 challenger from her own Morena party. Okay, so yeah, the current president's political rival was assassinated. Okay. I'm sorry, but can we at least admit it's pretty hilarious that the Jews run the Mexican drug cartels now? It's not even hilarious because it's still like, even though it's a fairly growing minority, but it's still a minority across the world who actually talks about these affairs. Like somebody like Arch Warhammer, so Arch. He talks about political stuff and Islamization of Europe, but the only times hear somebody like him mention Israel is like when he's smugly comparing the leftists who are not fans of Israel always to Nazis or something, and it's getting tired. I'm getting tired of it. And Germany will allocate another $1.08 billion for home care for Holocaust survivors in 2026. How more than $1 billion for how many Holocaust survivors still survived to this day, marking the largest budget for home care in its history of Holocaust reparations. And why the fuck do they have to pay that anyways? Whatever happened 80 years ago, and do they play to the state of Israel or simply amorphous group of Jews, or because Israel didn't exist back in the during World War II or anything like. Does I don't know, like France have to pay England reparations for the 100-Year War, or vice versa, or it was between was 100 Years War the one with um, Joan of Arc and all that, whatever. So there's some British guy who is getting his speaking license probably revoked. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize a Muslim, I'm called an Islamophobe. What are you when you criticize and replace me? So let's listen.
That's what it seems like. It seems like racist equals white, because no black man can be racist to me. If I criticize a Jew, I'm an anti-Semite. If I criticize an Islamic, I'm an Islamophobe. What are you if you criticize me? What are you if you try and replace me? What are you if you try and tell me I'm wrong for wanting to protect my children? Apparently, you're a perfectly reasonable person, but I'm a racist for wanting to protect my future. No, bullshit. That's what it's.
So yeah, maybe the Anglo-Saxon is finally learning to hate, and it's about time, because I have done a lot of shitting on UK, but like because most British people don't seem to be saying or thinking what this guy is saying just yet, and it's about time. And let's see what Grok is here saying. He's saying naughty stuff. So general patterns goes. Never forget that Patton was on the ground throughout World War II and had time to thoroughly analyze the evil displayed by both communists and Allied forces, the horrific atrocities committed against a good and decent German people, and above all, the vile behavior of the Judens, and Patton wasn't the type to keep his opinions to himself. Okay, I'm not gonna watch the 10-minute video, almost 10 minutes. So, Grok, is this real? Somebody asks. Yes, Patton's diaries and letters document his outspoken disgust with Soviet atrocities, Allied mistreatment of Germans, whom he called victims of hysteria, and resentment towards Jewish officials like Morgenthau for pushing punitive policies. He privately fumed about Jewish vengefulness in denazification and urged rearming Germans to fight communists, even suggesting the US fought the wrong enemy. Is he wrong? These views, drawn from primary sources, fueled clashes with Eisenhower and contributed to his relief from command. And then he suddenly died, totally by accident. Yeah. So I smell another trip to the wall in Grok's future. Yeah, I think it happened already, probably. Alright, but finally let's get away from the cesspit of Israel and go to the cesspit of games and entertainment news. Because we have quite a lot of, fairly lots of entertainment news, more than usual at least. So Judge rules George R. Martin and other authors can sue OpenAI for copyright infringement. Said ChatGPT generated Game of Thrones content similar enough to infringe copyright. OpenAI's motion to dismiss was denied. So this is like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of OpenAI, but it's like, what if I write my fanfic ending to the Song of Ice and Fire saga, because George here isn't gonna do it. So what if I make my fanfic version of Winds of Winter and whatever Dream of Spring is the last one? Like, will I get sued too? Like, maybe I think this is just butthurt on George's part because he can't finish his books. And hey, I do feel some sympathy, like the there's many different loose threads in all his books, and I haven't read all of them. I just read the first three. But anyway, so there's so many loose threads. I can understand that it's very difficult to tie them all together in the end, but it's still, it's been, was it been 15 years since his last book in the main saga of Song of Ice and Fire, or something like that. So yeah, he's just butthurt. Russia bans My Animalist, citing extremist LGBTQ plus content on platform. Russia's federal media watchdog Roskomnadzor, sounds like some robot monster or something, like Godzilla versus Roskomnadzor, has officially blocked My Animalist, one of the world's largest databases and social networks for anime and manga fans. The site, which allows users to rate, review, and track content, has over 18 million registered users. So yeah, this is like, it's not like you can even watch gay manga porn on the website, as far as I know. Like, it just, yeah, basically records every single anime and manga in existence, as far as I know, and people can, like it says here, rate or talk about them and stuff like that. So it doesn't make sense. Like, how does that fall under the purview of the anti-LGBT laws? Um, because yeah, there is especially like some manga about gay people, but it's like, I think they should be differentiated between being able to push for that sort of stuff to people to see and to be able to talk about it, or to just make a record. These kind of gay manga exist. I don't know, like, yeah, it doesn't sound so good. Like, some people say that Russia is the good guys. Like, yeah, I think they are less bad than the Western establishment, but doesn't sound so good either. And also this, Russia moves to mandate state biometric ID for online verification. Russia is moving to end online anonymity. A new proposal would make the state's biometric ID system mandatory for age verification, forcing citizens to log in with their government identity to access anything deemed adult or harmful. Officials call it child protection. In reality, it's a system that records who you are, what you watch, and when, with the state of universal gatekeeper. Surveillance dragnet built in the name of safety. I was just thinking because like maybe this is actually a good thing, because if you point out to people that UK is doing same stuff, it's like, yeah, well, it's to protect children and that. But if you point to stupid Euro NPCs that Russia is doing it, then maybe they will see like, oh yeah, that's actually bad, that's tyrannical. And then you point out that, well, European countries are doing the same thing, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe they will just short circuit. YouTube recently removed a video demonstrating how to install Windows 11 with a local account rather than a Microsoft account. It reportedly violated community guidelines and policies that could lead to physical harm or death. What? Does it mean that Microsoft doesn't like you doing that, local account stuff, and they will send an assassin after you if you do that? Is that what it means by physical harm or death? That's how it sounds like. But yeah, I fucking hate having to generate an account, and also like for me, I have to have a freaking password on my computer. Like, I can understand it's very good. Like if you take your laptop somewhere else, it's good to have a password. But like if I just keep it at home, why the fuck do I have to have a password? But at least I haven't been able to get rid of it, and I don't want to spend many days fucking trying to hack my laptop so I don't have to import a freaking password every time I turn it on. Anyway, closing Windows 11's Task Manager accidentally opens more copies of Task Manager, which may hurt performance. The bug affects Windows 11 24H2 and 25H2 users using the October update preview. So yeah, they shut down Windows 10, and then Windows 11 just keeps getting worse. I guess I really should look into Linux, and supposedly, gaming on Linux is much more viable nowadays than back in the day, because of course I need to be able to play games, to stream games and stuff. And lock screen ads are coming to some smartphones. Nothing OS 4.0's latest beta update adds optional lock screen ads to your phone. Okay, optional. Who would opt in to have an ad? Like, okay, if you get paid to view ads, then maybe, but I doubt that's the case. But whoever came up with this idea, they should be. Will I get punished if I were to say that they should be caned? Just asking. And so tomorrow, October 24th. Oh, this is 12 days ago. But this is yesterday. UK Parliament will debate the issue of game destruction today. It's more of a long shot compared to EU and Australia. However, even under UK law, publishers withholding information on how long games last they fully control could be seen as a violation of the DMCC 2024. Okay. So yeah, this is from Ross Scott, the saint of gaming, who started the whole Stop Killing Games movement thingy. And I have to shield. He made a video of Alan Wake. I haven't watched any of these because I use another account usually to watch YouTube. But anyway, yeah, I really liked his Alan Wake video, his latest video. British MP says Concord is perfect example of why gamers need improved consumer protection. Concord's sudden shutdown is such a big deal that it's been raised in UK government debates on video game consumer laws. It's like, I guess that's a good thing, but also it's like, I'm wondering why. Like, of course it was a complete failure, but at least everybody got paid for, for the stuff, like, because they took it out of service after 2 weeks, and people got refunded for the crap. But I guess it's still like, let's say you bought it electronically and then they just take it away from you. It is still sort of like a violation of your rights, even though they give you the money back. Because let's say I buy a book, and then the publisher notices like, damn, there was this typo on this page or something, or like some misinformation, and we have to change it, correct it, and then they come to my house and take the book from me, and either give me an updated version of the book or just give me my money back. It's like, no, it's still a violation of my property rights or whatever, because maybe I want the version with the misprinting or the mistakes. So I guess in that sense, but maybe there's some other arguments I'm not thinking of, like how is this harmful towards consumers? I think it's harmful towards society. Like, what pisses me off most about Concord is like they used like a $500 million or however much money to use it, and it basically went all down the drain. Like, how incompetent people in current society, they are awarded monetarily, like, when we have all sorts of economic problems and poverty and stuff like that, but then these incompetent people who couldn't make a decent game to save their lives, they are paid decent money anyway. And then there's a new Spartacus. I'm not sure if this is a TV show or a movie. I think it's probably a TV show. So new Spartacus keeps looking better and better. Yeah, brave black woman. So is the black woman is presumably Spartacus, because this guy here who looks like a bad guy cannot be Spartacus. So yeah, Spartacus, House of Asher. Yeah, Spartacus, her time has come. Another show overtaken by DEI. Yeah, I thought we were already over this, but I guess some people are still pulling this shit out of their assholes. Yet another show falling for DEI, having the lead taken over by a diversity character. So yeah, her time has come. Maybe this was like greenlit 4 years ago or something, but it's like, I wonder, are they still greenlighting shit like this year? Because if you're not, like, I still predict, TV shows will be shit a few years down the line, but maybe they won't be pushing DEI wokeness crap. Google mislabels image. Yes, that's how you pronounce it. A rising self-hosted Google Photos alternative as dangerous. People are leaving Google's ecosystem for open, privacy-first tools, and Google's response says everything. Image, a respected self-hosted photo app, was suddenly flagged as dangerous by Google's data browsing. No malware, no scam, just users controlling their own data. The block was lifted, then reinstated, blacklisting the entire domain. It's not just Image. Jellyfin, Nextcloud, and Unohost have faced the same problem. One corporate filter deciding what the web can see. Yeah. Like, why don't they break up Google? Like, it's clearly they have cartel monopoly, whatever. They should not, like, it's just fucking phones. I've complained about either you have to choose an Apple phone or a Google phone. How about having, a third alternative? Let's have a fucking Nazi phone. I'd buy that for $1 or $100. Google says search AI mode will know everything about you. Google wants AI mode to search on search to be as personal as possible, and it'll soon tap into services like Gmail or Drive to know more about you. Yeah, sounds good. Not. Final Fantasy VII. This remake was a big mistake. Yeah, no, it's not a mistake. It's an affront. Final Fantasy VII remake director doubles down on yellow paint. There is definitely a need for that kind of thing. It's like, the yellow paint, if you don't know, is basically to tell the player, like, this is where you're supposed to go. And it's just like, I fucking hate it. Like, sure, I can understand. Like, some games, like some simple shooting game that it shouldn't be like, because for some games it's part of the experience that you don't know where you're supposed to be going, so you have to pay attention and look around. So definitely those games shouldn't have the yellow paint, but some games are supposed to be simple. But it's like, how about just being competent level designers, so people, the players don't have to wonder where to go? How about that? Like, did the original Super Mario have yellow paint or the need for it? No. Like, of course, it was much simpler. Like, it's 2D, you go from left to right. But why can't you make simple 3D games where you don't get confused if you don't have yellow paint? And also, why, like, I can accept in some games the notion that there are some sort of signs telling you where to go. Like, even freaking Golden Axe had the arrow pointing go when you could go and stuff. Like, why does it always have to be fucking yellow paint? Why can't different kinds of games use different kinds of visual clues to tell the player where to go? Why the fuck does it always have to be yellow paint? I fucking hate it. And I ranted about Final Fantasy VII remake already last week, and I just, yeah, this guy, the director, belongs in an oubliette, the filthiest one we can find. He's worse than a pedophile. No, he makes me more angry than a pedophile, because at least I can understand the motivations, as twisted they are. But it's I can understand people's pursuit for pleasure, even if they get derive pleasure from really horrible acts. But it's like, this is just like subhuman. Final Fantasy VII remake director Naoki Hamaguchi, so this is the guy. Looks like a freaking monkey. Says they have lost all the design documents for the original FF7. This sounds like sabotage. You're talking about the mid 90s. There's almost no documentation left over from that period at all, practically none. Game development back then was a lot more Wild West. A lot of material was just not kept. Data management wasn't done to modern standards, so yeah, there's basically nothing. Well, it's possible, but it's like they can always play the original game, and if they need to know how to do the game, but I guess he doesn't want to play it. He finds it offensive or something. It's like, I fucking hate this guy. I don't even want to look at his face. The PC version of Lover Kiss Endless Memories will be released on GOG and DL site. So last week I reported how this game, that's not even a hentai game, it has sort of lewd, suggestive images of young females, but it's not a hentai game. It was banned on Steam for whatever reason, but now it's going to GOG and DL site, and that's good. I hope it sells well. I don't particularly plan on buying it, but I do hope it sells well. We are very excited to finally bring the PC version to all of you who have been waiting for it. We would also like to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone involved for responding so quickly despite the sudden request. But here it says Lover Kiss Endless Memories is showing as regionally restricted in Japan on GOG. The publisher is looking into why this is and trying to get the region lock removed. Could you hurry this up, please, GOG? Yes, like, why? Doesn't make sense. Or maybe there's a good reason. Sounds a bit sus. Another Japanese game has been removed from Steam in just under a week. This is 4 games from Japan that were removed we are aware of. Definitely has something to do with payment processor. Horror mockumentary game about cancelled 90s Bishoujo title not coming to Steam for the time being. It would require too many content revisions. Well, I respect that from the developers. They don't want to compromise. H9 will instead be launching across GOG, DLSite, DMM, and Stove Automaton Media.com. I don't know what these two are, but this game actually, I'm intrigued. I don't know anything about it, but it's like yeah, horror mockumentary Bisojo, like, or pseudo 90s. It sounds curious. At least I want to know more about it when it comes out. But of course, screw Steam for either they don't care, or they are happy with it, or they're just weak. Let's reload this. Okay, this is the same game. Yeah, the Bishojo title, H9. What does it say here? Welcome to the Spacey Janken Club, loser beware. That's rock. Janken Bron, Saizoku. Rock, paper, scissors with a spicy twist. Now let me explain this totally wholesome game works. How this? So is it like a strip version of rock, paper, scissors? I don't know, but I am actually sort of curious about that game. Valve's war on Japanese games is ramping right up this month. Inti creates Trouble with Machogami, which should be have released yesterday, and Kodansha's Hamukoi, so it's like Hamster Love. An FMV game about a hamster has also been banned despite all the characters being over 18. So, is this like a porn game about hamsters and human females? If it is, I not saying it should be banned, but I'm disturbed. But maybe it's not, and I don't know if I want to know more. But still, it's BS because there are all sorts of degenerate games on Steam, so it's very arbitrary. I've said many times I hate the arbitrariness of it all. Okay, and then there's another game banned on Steam. That's not a Japanese one. So yeah, this Red Pine Lake from I think Aftermath, or is it called Aftermath Red Pine Lake, or is it the company's name? Whatever. So yes, Steam is blocking their Steam page because of this image. Because there's a woman with an ass. Sure, like it's. I guess you can say it's slightly suggestive, but shit like that would have been acceptable in the 60s and 70s and already. And come on. So yeah, this image is the reason our Steam page has not been approved. This image is now classed as too mature according to Steam. So now we cannot have the page ready in time for the event that would need to censor our marketing screenshots, etc. This is what censorship is coming to in games industry. And we have to ask now, is it worth it for them to move the goalpost down the line? Yeah, so they're looking for other publishers and whatever. So yeah, campers, we got a response is probably worse than you expected. According to Steam, the woman's behind is sexual regardless of what she's wearing. So wait, let's say like I make a game called Grandma's Lost Meds. It's about grandma escaping from her old folks home because she lost her meds or something, and have a similar angle of grandma in her flower dress or whatever and showing her ass, even though it's not like wouldn't be naked, but it still shows the shape of her ass. Is that too sexual? Like, come on, man. And if it's a guy in a similar position, that's okay then. WTF, man. So yeah, that's right. You better get ready to slap that mature rating if you go full deviant and put a woman wearing jeans in. So yeah, like Tomb Raider, any like third person game with a female protagonist is too sexual. Like what the fuck are they smoking? So always on, yeah. Steam, Red Pine Lake, no, but Sex with Hitler and Femboy and Footer House, yeah, exactly. Does Steam know what they're doing? Is it like some couple of rogue employees and nobody has noticed what they're doing? And I guess a company like Steam, they can be slow to act in matters like this. But are they looking into it? Are they, they realize how stupid this all is? Are they doing anything about the payment processors? Okay, Steam responded there's something strange in their response. Feels like something else is happening here, but we don't want to go posting yet until we have looked into it. We assume because we're a small studio, they don't anticipate much backlash. Be ashamed to disappoint them. So yeah, because nobody would have heard about this game if it wasn't for this. Like part of me even suspects that some of the Steam moderators or whatever, they might be friends with some developers here and creating this controversy to promote the game. Like just an idea. Like what if, because this is so retarded. And yeah, there's this. If you look long enough, I'm sure you'll find plenty of other partners who are breaking. So this is from some Steam moderator or whatever. If you look long enough, I'm sure you'll find plenty of other partners who are breaking our rules and guidelines. Focusing the topic on of the image on a woman's behind is indeed sexual in nature, regardless of what she's wearing. Your graphical assets can be viewed by anyone, and platform should be appropriate to the store. So yeah, it's basically like don't make do your business with us. Go find one of our competitors. That's a winning strategy when it comes. Like no, this isn't too sexual. Like you can say it is somewhat suggestive, but like shit like this would have been like I'm pretty sure there's some like old James Bond posters from back in 60s 70s or something that would have had similar kind of imagery. Or come on, man, like it is like Islamic kind of thinking. Let's put a burqa on her. But okay, we fixed it. Do you think Steam will approve of our rebranding? Red Pine Cake, ha ha ha, because cake portal. I do think this is a bit cringe, but at least shitting on Steam when their Steam is being completely retarded. That's something I do agree with. Uh, no, really, they said do our job for us. You can't even make this stuff up. No refund, no answers. Can't even deal with this. So this is from the developer. So you're admitting that you know other have graphics that are indeed more sexual than ours that are still allowed on your platform. So just for the record, you are aware of this and still won't approve our page. Also, it will be interesting to see what the community thinks of your stance against women's behinds. It's a diverse team of female um, our female team believe in women being given the freedom to wear what they want without censorship and think players should be able to see a swimsuit without being called mature or sexual content. Okay, this is like a diverse term, females. That's leftist kind of language. I don't appreciate, but still I agree with the point. Literally have sex games that show more in their graphics that are viewable by everyone, but you're worried about a barely visible back should be barely. You also said regardless of what they wear, so jeans are now sexual. Not sure this is the hill you want to die on. Players hate censorship. I agree, players hate censorship, but I hate the way they type this. Players hate censorship. If you won't permit our page, we want a full refund. If you see apps that are breaking the rule, please use our official reporting feature on the game store base by page by using the button with the flag icon, which can be found on the right hand side of the page next to the embed buttons. We use these reports to investigate problems or abuse with games or take action when appropriate. However, we don't provide updates or info on the outcome or share how we handle the situation with other partners. But yeah, it's like it's not our like shouldn't they be if they have images that are inappropriate, more inappropriate than it's not our job as Steam customers to report it. Like what the fuck is going on with Steam? And yes, Steam 2 controller may be coming soon as data miners discover a new Triton codename in Steam update. I think the old Steam controller is underrated. It's not that great, like the haptic pad, like this one is not that good. But otherwise, I sort of like Steam controller still use. I got a couple of them. But like I might be more excited, but because of news like this sort of shit, I don't have much faith in current year Steam. So it's like, yeah. Okay, Steam Deck is supposedly good. I haven't gotten one because I'm freaking poor and wouldn't really have time to play with it anyways. Okay, let's go. According to Amazon's former VP Evans, Amazon tried to compete with Steam for 15 years. So as Amazon's game business crumbles, the public is surprised to discover that it was trying to compete with Steam with all this time. So they had like one game, New World or whatever, the MMO, that seemed interesting, but I guess wasn't so good in the end. Like I have a suggestion. I think Amazon should hire me. Like, if you want to compete with Steam when it comes to game, how about having some games actually? Like, did they want to be a publisher or just a storefront for games? Because didn't really see either. Like, this is like the worst, like one of the biggest corporate fails ever. Is just like nobody knows. Like, I maybe if people knew that they were trying to do some gaming stuff outside of a few random games they published, like, come on, man. And they published some Korean game, something Arc. And there's some new game that looks interesting. Not sure if it's good, but it looks interesting. Mimesis, a four-player co-op survival horror game launched on Steam, where AI disguised as a player blends in. Escape a dangerous zone with teammates who might be AI. The AI mimics player voices, gestures, and even memories. So yeah, no idea whether it's gonna be good or how does the AI work. And some people say it's like some data mining, AI data mining could be. But at least, it's another game that at least I'm curious about to know more. Let's move on though. What's this? So is this the average Twitter experience now? Anything anime related is flagged and demoted in even official safe for work art. Meanwhile, bots actual posting actual porn seem to have no issues going viral. Yeah, so this content warning, adult content. Actually, I haven't seen any like I've seen some anime clips, but really not some like anime girl pictures recently on Twitter. But I've never seen porn on Twitter either, though. So I don't really understand when people are complaining about porn on their Twitter feeds. And there's this. So a few days ago, I hit the post limit on Twitter. This doesn't matter, but you have reached your daily limit for this action. Please add a phone to your account to remove the limit. Like, what the fuck, limit? It's not like and here it says like from the help center. So posts 2,400 per day. The daily ultimate update limit is further broken down into smaller limits for semi or hourly intervals. Reposts are counted as posts. So yeah, I certainly did not make more than 2,000 posts. Like, I'm pretty sure it was under 100, few dozen, but I hit the limit. My hunch is that I was saying something that some AI or moderators on Twitter don't like me saying, so then they made me cool down. And no, I don't want to dox my phone number to them or anything. Um, So yeah, that's BS, and I'd never heard about this feature before, and I've seen it only once, and at least I had to wait like an hour. Then I think I could post again. But still, it's BS. It's very arbitrary. And so yeah, what kind of shit app are you running, Elon Musk? Why was Kenneth Morgan suspended? So this is the guy who was wearing the SS Halloween costume. So he's suspended. Did he do something more, or is it just because of his costume? So that's a bit sus. Okay, and then this, it's not political. This is, he says he's not joking, but it sounds like a joke. Because Albania, they're making an AI minister, and Albanian PM announces that his minister, Diela, is pregnant and will give birth to 83 AI kids. He says, no, I'm not joking. Like, what the fuck? Is it like, the first openly demon possessed country or something? Like, this just sounds like some horror science fiction movie. Like, why is she pregnant and what are they 83 kids? What are they gonna give them citizenship? By the way, if she's an minister, does she have citizenship of Albania? It's fucking weird. Nintendo may not be able to recoup legal expenses of the Palworld lawsuit even if it wins, Japanese attorney suggests. So that's good news, I guess. And also, I think I don't have any tab for it or anything, but like the judge rejected some patent for Nintendo for capturing, creatures in a games or something. So that's good. But they still have a bunch of retarded patents. Like I should really make a game and patent walking because I'm clearly the first one to invent the concept of walking in a video game. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is the lowest selling game of the last five Assassin's Creed games, despite having the highest budget. I knew it was a flop, but didn't expect it to be such a disaster. For example, compared to Mirage, which sold 5 million in 3 months, Shadows sold 4 million in 6 months, fewer copies in double the amount of time, knowing that Mirage sold less than Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins. What a real disaster. So, yeah, it's no surprise that it was a failure. And, good thing. Oh, okay, let's refresh all of these last tabs. Oops, this one. And Netflix DMCA their own Stranger Things tweet. So yeah, something's coming. The media has been disabled in response to a report from the copyright owner. But this is yeah, Stranger Things, Netflix, Stranger. Now it's not. Now it's working. But it's like what? It's retarded. I fucking hate corporations. They're so fucking retarded, and still they get away with it. If a normal person is this retarded, they usually pay the consequences. But if you're a freaking multinational corporation, it's like, oh well. And there's also this: I hate corporations. First batch of the destroyed model jacket sold by Balenciaga for $950 sold out in 24 hours. So it's basically you live it's like a hobo. Like fuck, I've been ahead of the curve for a long time. I have a few, old T-shirts that have holes in them, and my wife is trying to, goad me to throw them away, and always resisting. So I should start my own fashion line, just people copying the clothes I wear. And there's something here. La prenda que muestra el video no es Balenciaga sino el de marca Remnants. But I have no idea what it says, so it's not very helpful. Yeah, I read it. It's just not helpful because I don't know what they're complaining about. And the last news of the week: developer who accidentally listed as a game as Shitty Dungeon. How do you accidentally? That I think the wording is really lame. Shitty Dungeon in Japan says Steam wishlist skyrocketed in the aftermath. So yeah, this Shitty Dungeon, it actually looks sort of interesting. So fix a bug, an indie developer from Italy released a satirical fantasy RPG, The Crazy Hyper Dungeon Chronicles, on Steam last week. Looking back on the development process in a post-launch interview with the GameSpark, the game's creator Paolo Nicoletti says the most memorable moment for him was undoubtedly the Shitty Dungeon incident. See, it's like I can't remember this. The Crazy Hyper Dungeon, Shitty Dungeon would be a much better name actually. Like you remember Shitty Dungeon, but this is Crazy Hyper Dungeon Chronicles. Like it's such a mouthful, and it's also so like generic and like a pseudo whimsical or something. It's like millennial writing, as they say. And hey, that's the last news of the week. So I don't know. Corporations suck. Israel sucks. Let's do something about it. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.